All right, everybody, it is right about 6 o'clock there, so we'll call the meeting to order. Ready when you are.
All right. Mayor Holland?
Here.
Commissioner Messer?
Here.
Commissioner Finch?
Here.
Commissioner Normile?
Here.
Commissioner Taylor?
Here.
Commissioner Vogel? Here. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. This time I'd like to invite up a very good friend of mine for our opening prayer, Pastor Freddie Braswell from Emerald Isle Baptist Church. Thank you for coming tonight, sir. Great to see you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for inviting me. Thank you all for letting me come. I appreciate each one of you. We're thankful for every staff member, everyone who works in this town as we live and we work here to share. Commissioners, each one of you all, everyone, thank you. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to preach. Don't worry. But I want to tell you, you are a service organization in so many ways. And that doesn't get a lot of well-fed thank you statements. But you all are doing a wonderful job. And I thank you for all that you do. And I appreciate that. In fact, you rub off on us for what you do and how you do it. And it makes a difference. I say this in jest, but it's true. I parked my little Toyota between two Jeeps tonight in hopes that my little RAV will get some class. It's going to get some class in a while. It's a Jeep. Yeah, this one.
He's normally got a real fancy headset, so he's excused.
I'm used to people not really wanting to hear me, so that didn't bother me one bit. Not one bit. But thank you all so much for what you do. Let us pray. Lord, we do not take for granted where we live, among people with many faiths, with many joys, with many sorrows. We come here for different reasons, but somehow this place influences us for the good. We thank you for all of our leaders, everyone gathered tonight and all that they represent. It makes no difference how we find our way here. We know that we want peace, a sense of purpose, and a place to thrive. This is one of those places at Emerald Isle. It is because the people care about where they live. It is because the staff who cares for us shows it in many ways. They care for each other, and it is contagious. I pray that you will help them in their spirit as they find peace, to find ways to give us peace as well. It's not easy in any way to realize that we will not get all that we want. But I'm thankful that our leaders seek to find ways to give us what we need. And so as they go through their daily task, may you give them the strength and the endurance and the feeling of satisfaction that moves them every day to be better and better. Thank you, Lord, for this evening and for this wonderful place we live and work. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Freddie. Thank you so much. You can just lay it down right there.
Take this with me.
Yeah. We got an extra one. Thank you, bud. If you will, join me in stand and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, item number 5 would be the adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Next up, we have some employee recognitions and introductions. We'll start with our esteemed Public Works Director, Joe Smith. He's got a lot of titles and what's the name of it? Acting when you're in the movie, roles he plays in the various videos and stuff, but we're going to go by Joe Smith. Joe, would you join me up front, please, sir?
Cheers for the Bills, though.
All right, Public Works Director Joe Smith is being recognized for 20 years of service to the town. I was fortunate enough this past Saturday to celebrate my 20th wedding anniversary, and I can tell you, that's 20 years is a long time. But all jokes aside, Joe, it's a pleasure. I've only had a short time to work with you so far, but I enjoy it every day. I look forward to seeing you every day. Between the job you do on a regular basis and your starring roles in the many public service films that we put out on the island, it seems like you enjoy those as much as we do. So congratulations on that. So with that being said, put this down. I have two hands here. The town of Emerald Isle proudly presents this certificate of appreciation to Joseph J. Smith in sincere and grateful recognition of your faithful and dedicated service for the town of Emerald Isle Public Works Department for 20 years. On behalf of the mayor, board of commissioners, staff, and citizens of the town of Emerald Isle, this service award is hereby bestowed upon you as a token of our appreciation and esteem. Presented this 13th day of June, 2023. Congratulations, sir. Spot. A couple words.
Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. It's been a very good 20 years. You all make my job a lot easier with the support that y'all give us in Public Works and the rest of the town staff. I wouldn't rather be any other place for the last 20 years. Y'all support me. My family supports me. So it's been fun. I'm glad I chose this place, and I'm glad Artie chose me 20 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, is Tyler Biscup with us tonight? Okay, Tyler isn't here. Is he here? I don't see him. Okay, I want to recognize Tyler Biscup with the Emerald Isle Police Department. He's been promoted to Master Sergeant, so let's give it up for Tyler. And we've had 4 new full-time hires to the fire department, so we'd like to welcome Cameron White, Roger Watson, Matt Geeb, and David Bean, full-time employees on our Emerald Isle Fire Department. Welcome, everybody. And we've had 1 new full-time hire to the police department. I'd like to welcome Master Patrol Officer Trent Johnson. Welcome, Trent. Now forgive me for a moment while I gather the rest of my notes. All right, next up will be our public announcements. We've got quite a few here. We're going to get started with our Red Cross Blood Drive, scheduled for June 16th from 1 o'clock to 5:30 in the community center. Police Educating the Public, scheduled for June 20th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. here in the boardroom. The next Golf Cart Advisory Committee meeting is scheduled for June 20th from 5:30 to 6:30. Is that taking place here in the boardroom? Coffee with a Cop, June 22nd from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. In the town boardroom. Welcome back Emerald Fest, our summer concert series out at the Western Regional Access. The dates for that for the next couple of months are June 22nd, June 29th, July 6th, from 6:30 to 8 at the Western Access down past the Islander. Bring a chair, bring some family and friends. No alcohol, please, but I looked at the lineup of acts this year, and it's going to be really, really good. So we look forward to seeing everybody there. Our next planning board meeting is June 26th from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. here in the boardroom.
Get ready for the Western Carteret Fireworks
We'll do that
celebration
one for me.
happening on Monday, July 3rd. The festivities kick off at 5 p.m. at Mac Daddy's, featuring live entertainment by Will and Tony with a wide array of food trucks. At 7:30 p.m., we'll stand united as the national anthem fills the air, accompanied by a flyover by the U.S. Marine Corps. At 9 p.m., the sky will come alive with a dazzling fireworks display, followed by live music from Heartstop until 11 p.m. This unforgettable experience is made possible through the support of Mac Daddy's, Emerald Isle Realty, and the towns of Bogue, Cape Carteret, Cedar Point, Emerald Isle, and Pelletier.
All right, July 3rd, 5 to 11, mark your calendars. That's going to be a really, really good time. Admin and Community Center will be closed for Independence Day on July 4th. Junior Lifeguard Camp, Week 1, slated for July 10th through July 13th, each day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Eastern Ocean Regional Access. One more video.
William Mathias here. Today we're going to discuss top 10 beach safety tips as we head into this summer. Number 1, swim only in lifeguard protected areas and follow those instructions of our lifeguards. These areas are designated by red over yellow flags, located at our Western Ocean Regional Access and our Eastern Ocean Regional Access. 2, be aware of rip currents. It's always common in the ocean to have rip currents in any area. They're always present. Rip currents can be very subtle to very powerful. Know how to float and swim out of those rip currents and signal for help. 3, before coming to the beach strand for the day, make sure to check out those weather apps on our phones or the local news stations. It's never advisable to swim in rough and stormy conditions. 4, it's advisable to always swim in a group. Danger can happen anytime in the ocean, and swimming in a group can increase your chances of survivability in the event of danger. 5, remember to always stay hydrated, and that means with water. It's important if we stay hydrated, we can keep our bodies from suffering from heat stroke or heat exhaustion. As well, remember to bring that sunscreen to the beach strand for the day. That keeps us from possibly encountering up to 3rd-degree burns while we're enjoying our day on the beach. Number 6, unless you want a severe neck and back injury, it's advisable never to dive headfirst into the waves or turn our backs to the waves. Diving headfirst into waves increases our dangers of neck and back injuries because we don't know how shallow that water is. People underestimate the power of the waves. This is the reason why we never turn our backs to those waves while out in the ocean. Number 7, avoid alcohol and drugs while swimming, boating, or enjoying our coastal areas. Number 8, be aware of your surroundings, such as marine, other structures along the beach strand, rocks, and also know that address of where you're staying at along our shoreline. Knowing your address is imperative so that emergency services can get there in a timely manner. Number 9, if you're caught in a current or need help along the beach strand, wave your arms above your head. This is a signal for distress. Waving your arms for distress is much more effective than calling out for help. The waves and wind make it very difficult for sound to travel along the beach strand. Number 10, pay attention to signage and water safety flags along our beach strand. These flags are posted along our beach strand and indicate how the water conditions are for that day. These conditions can change throughout the day. It is never recommended to swim on these red flag days. If you're ever out on the beach strand and you have a question, please ask a lifeguard. They'll be more than willing to help you. Please share these tips with friends and family to help them keep safe this summer.
All right, great info there. Thank you guys for putting those items together. We appreciate it. And I believe finally our next Board of Commissioners meeting will be held July the 11th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. here in the town boardroom. And that takes care of public announcements. Item number 8 is going to be a presentation from the Surfrider Foundation, Bogue Banks chapter. I'm really glad to have, is Brittany, Jennifer, and Dana here with us tonight? All three of you guys?
What is
All right,
Surfrider?
thanks so much. Some really good friends of mine. I've gotten to know them personally over the years and bore witness to the outreach and volunteerism and the efforts that they put into keeping our town beautiful, helping with the dunes, keeping trash picked up on the beach. I think I know they play a very important part, but also know a lot of people don't know that much about Surfrider Foundation and what they actually do. So this time I'd like to invite Brittany, Jennifer, and Dana up to the podium to give us a little background. I'm coming. Oh, yeah, there's a couple. There's this one on the floor. It is. Hold it up nice and close so people at home can hear us. Okay.
Thank you. My name is Jennifer Wellborn, and I've been involved with Surfrider Bogue Banks since 2013. I'm the current chapter chair.
My name's Dana Williams. I'm the current chapter treasurer. I've been involved with the chapter since 2017 and been the treasurer since 2019.
My name is Brittany Heddle, and I've been involved with the chapter for 2.5 years now, and I came onto the board last fall. So we have a video for everybody to watch. I'm not big for public speaking, so I figure we'll let the video do the talking. Roll the tape, Greg. So, what is Surfrider? The Surfrider Foundation is dedicated to the protection and enjoyment of the world's ocean, waves, and beaches for all people through a powerful activist network. The Surfrider Foundation was founded in 1984 by a group of surfers who were concerned about the environmental threats posed by escalating coastal development at their favorite surf break, Surfrider Beach in Malibu, California. The group addressed the issues and presented solutions to California state park officials at a public hearing in 1984. They won, and little by little, they started chalking up successes and fighting battles that continue today. And today, there are more than 80 chapters nationwide, 96 student clubs, more than 1 million volunteers, supporters, and activists, and over 100 active campaigns fighting for plastic reduction, ocean protection, beach access, coast and climate issues, and clean water. The Bogue Banks chapter of Surfrider was founded in 2012 by a group of locals dedicated to keeping the Crystal Coast clean. Our logo might have changed, but the support from the community hasn't. For over a decade, we have protected the oceans, beaches, and waterways of Bogue Banks. Our chapter chair, Jen Wellborn, became involved when she moved here full-time in 2013 as a general member, then taking on the role of secretary, vice chair, and now chapter chair. Other board members include Dana Williams, treasurer, Brittany Heddle, volunteer coordinator and video editor, and Tom Kemper, vice chair. 11 years after its inception, and the Bogue Banks chapter is thriving and growing. We organize 12 or more monthly beach cleanups each year, mostly at Bogue Inlet Pier, but also throughout Carteret County and Atlantic Beach. Our board is made up of all locals, and over the years, we've had thousands of volunteers, both local and tourists. Since 2012, we've collected thousands of pounds of litter from the beaches of Emerald Isle, diverting it from the ocean. That data is sent to the National Surfrider Foundation to be used by local, state, and federal governments to enact anti-plastic legislation. We love doing collaboration cleanups with groups like Litter Free Land and Sea, Camp Lejeune, Cherry Point, the Carteret County Realtors Association, schools, and any students who need volunteer hours. We've also organized waterway cleanups, including the Soundside Sweep. We've participated in initiatives with Beaufort Mayor Rhett Newton, the Croatan Sierra Club, Oceana, the Carteret County Chamber of Commerce, and the Crystal Coast Waterkeeper. We host the annual Oyster Roast with E-Club and have booths at events like the Beaufort Music Festival, CCC events, and events at the aquarium at Pine Knoll Shores. For the last 6 years, we have done our Christmas tree dune restoration project at the point, collecting over 1,000 trees to date and helping to prevent erosion and restore our dunes. In 2023 and 2024, we look forward to working more closely with the Town of Emerald Isle on new initiatives and programs to protect our beaches. Our only agenda is to continue to protect the beaches that are home to us, you, and some incredible wildlife. With nearly 5,000 followers between Instagram and Facebook, we have established an eco-friendly influence on the island and beyond. Although Surfrider Bogue Banks was not behind the Pack It In, Pack It Out initiative put forth by the town, we do support them and believe that this will help with trash, recycling, and litter management not only now, but as our community and visitor populations grow in the upcoming years. People won't just throw their trash on the dunes any more than they already did with the trash cans where they were. Our friends in Carolina Beach with the Surfrider Cape Fear chapter did something very similar to what the town of Emerald Isle has decided to do. Leave some trash cans in high traffic areas, moving the rest to the other side of the boardwalk at beach access points. They've seen a noticeable reduction of litter on their beaches. And remember, the trash cans have not been removed. They have simply moved. We live here, we work here, we protect here. We hope to see you at our next beach cleanup at Bogue Inlet Pier on Saturday, July 8th.
Nicely done, ma'am.
Very well done.
Very well done. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for your time. We just wanted to present this video. There's a lot of confusion sometimes behind what we do as a chapter, given the name is Surfrider, and I don't think a single one of us surf. So we just wanted to get this out there, spread some awareness. You know, we're here for questions. We're always available via social media. We all live in town. If you see us, say hey. Come to our beach sweeps, second Saturday of every month. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, ladies, very much. Right. Thank you guys very much again. And I will reiterate, you can follow them on Instagram, social media. That's how I keep up with the monthly and beach cleanups and other events that they're a part of. It's a lot of fun to get out there on the beach and pick up trash. Well, it's not fun to pick up trash, but they make it fun. I've had the pleasure of helping with the dune, Christmas tree dune program and a couple of beach pickups. Like I said, trash is no fun to have to pick up, but they make it a really good time. I think their intentions are pure. I'm happy to serve alongside them. All right, next item up on the agenda would be our consent agenda. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Item number 10, I'll invite Finance Director Laura Rochford to the podium for a FEMA 428 projects update.
Can you hear me? Yes. Thank you, everybody. I just wanted to give an update on our FEMA 428 projects. We have some recent good news. So some of the news is old information, but I'll update all the projects and then save the best for last because we just had a recent award. So if we have the slideshow ready. One of our first 428 grant fundings that we had was, this is coming from our excess funds from Hurricane Florence. And we were awarded $535,000 on the first grant, and that was for stormwater improvements. Thank you. Appreciate the tech support.
Sorry, I was being a clicker hog there unintentionally.
There we go. And so just a recap on these projects. This is Reed Drive. We will be putting in a stormwater pipe and lift station along Reed Drive. Cedar Street has a bioretention cell planned along with a stormwater pipe as well. And Lee Avenue is currently under construction, as most of us are aware. That project's putting in a new culvert. So that project is awarded and underway, and we look forward to more construction updates coming soon. The next major grant was $9.8 million that was in excess funds due to our beach nourishment project after Florence. And we divided that application into 3 major grants. The first one that was awarded is the emergency equipment and vehicles. That was just under $3.5 million. And that included replacement fire engines, replacement ambulances, dual band radios for all of our public safety employees, jet skis, a dump truck, and a tractor with front loader. And these items are all under order. So the good news is everything has been ordered. We're waiting for either production or delivery. We have received just about all of the dual band radios. There's just some small accessories we're waiting on, and our dump truck is on the ground and ready to be put into service. The next major project is just under the 1.5 million, and this is part of that total 9.8 million funding. And this is also stormwater projects. This is going to be culvert replacements along Archers Creek at Cedar Street, Bogue Inlet Drive, Old Ferry. These are all in design phase. Design is almost finished, and we're getting ready to look at construction bid documents. So we're getting ready to bid those out. The other large project included in this project is the Land's End Area Dune Infiltration Project, and that is in design, and the design team is working to get CAMA permitting. So as soon as we get that next hurdle, we'll have more updates on that project. And last but not least, really exciting news. Just recently, May the 22nd, I think it was, we received notice from the federal government that this is our final project that has been awarded. It's just under $5 million, and this project is really for resilient structures, buildings, generators. And I've captured it in a divided line there. The top 4 have already been funded, so we have cash at the state ready to start these projects. These are our shorter term projects, and they involve permanent generators at 7 stormwater pump locations, a permanent generator at the community center, 3-phase power, underground power at 3 key stormwater pumps, and then the site improvements at the Pelletier yard debris site. Our longer construction projects are going to take quite a bit longer, Fire Station 2 and at least 10 beach access walkways. We hope to get more beach access walkways included in this funding. And so that cash hasn't yet been received, but we'll apply and notify the federal government when we're ready to start making drawdowns. So really exciting news. All of these projects have been a long time coming, and it's exciting to see construction and progress on the projects. And I can answer any questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura. Any questions from the board for Laura?
Laura, I just say thank you for going out and getting these grants together for us, and all the money you're saving for the tax, for our taxes and stuff too. It's just amazing that it's grant money. So remember that it's grant money. This is good money. This is money that was not coming out of our back pocket that we're getting all this good stuff with. So just remember that. And Laura, you made a lot of new friends tonight, I'm sure.
Anyone else? Thank you, Laura. All right, item number 11 will be our fiscal year 2023-24 budget presentation. So Laura, Matt will join Laura for that. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. In addition to the budget presentation we shared last month in our video opportunity, and then we disseminated it socially and through all of our outlet channels, tonight we'd like to go through your traditional presentation in the form of the slideshow that we have presented multiple years in a row. So I'll wait for staff to go ahead and we'll queue up the PowerPoint and I'll begin. So what we're here tonight to discuss and present and have a public hearing related to is fiscal year 23-24. This is your recommended budget that was assembled and put together with input from the board and attempting to meet and or exceed all the needs for the town in the fiscal year. To remind those in the audience or those tuning at home, our fiscal year runs from July 1st to June 30th annually. What we're referring to is the period beginning July 1, 2023 for the next 365 days concluding June 30th, 2024. Our general overview includes the following. We are developing a budget to meet the goals set by the Board of Commissioners and established during a 2-day presentation and seminar, which occurred January 4th and 5th at the start of this year. Our highlights are to maintain or improve upon the standards held in Emerald Isle. We are considering the local tax rate, which is currently 16.5 cents, and are not recommending any change. We had an annual CPI index, which we measured between April of 2022 and April of 2023, which currently is established at 5.5%. Again, we're proposing no tax rate adjustment, and we are considering a minor increase in solid waste fees that is a direct pass-through due to costs associated with tipping fees, both in solid waste and a substantial increase of 2 times in recycling. The current rate is $275 a year, and we're proposing a rate of $295 a year to absorb those increased costs, which is equitable to $1.66 per month, or again, $20 per year. In this budget, what you'll see is our capital plan opportunities, which have been defeased specifically due to the 9.8 million reasons we love Laura Rochford, presented slightly before I rode to the podium. So we would have to build in a plan to pay for a fire truck at nearly $1 million. We would take that rolling piece of apparatus, go out and get a loan and capitalize it over the service life of that unit. We would do the same for Fire Engine 2, Ambulance 1, Ambulance 2, a $3 million fire station, and so on. If you combined all those dollars at a very low cost adjustment, you would be seeing anywhere between a 3 and 5 cent tax increase over the period of that life to absorb and pay for those costs. So it's a substantial improvement to not only to our budget, but to our community to have located those nearly $10 million and offset those critical costs. So what you'll see throughout our entire process, as you saw tonight in public service announcement, was continued enhancement to beach safety, which is our #1 draw to the region. That's both in safety action, staffing, training, retention, tools, and equipment that you saw in tonight's presentation. 2, we're also talking about where do you house those pieces of expensive equipment and those key personnel so they can respond in a timely manner. And a little over 18 months ago, we developed an Emergency Services Task Force, shorthanded as ESTF. That group is developing and building a plan for the improvements that will be seen with that $3 million grant at Fire Station 2, and discussing the opportunities and needs as our community continues to grow and change in relation to Fire Station number 1. One of the major issues that we've been dealing with for the past 48 months is the fallout following Hurricane Florence and the impact of stormwater, the need to pump that stormwater, where that stormwater is presented and where it drains. And so you saw in the resiliency all the improvements, and we do apologize for those that are experiencing a temporary delay of up to 3 weeks with a road closure at Lee Avenue, but we're thrilled that that portion of the project is moving forward. And so again, that's around a 3-week period of temporary disruption for a 20 to 30 year life cycle improvement in Archers Creek. Also in this budget, what you'll see is additional town employees remaining consistent at 75 FTEs with no change to the staff, but we are proposing a salary increase equitable to the CPI that would provide our staff to remain neutral for the upcoming year. We're very fortunate to report that our benefits package across all platforms, whether it be vision, dental, and/or major medical, have remained flat, and that is a major win for us. All of those important goals tied into everything else that the board has identified in our strategic roadmap brings us to a total proposed budget of $13.6 million across all funds. In general fund, it's a $12.8 million operation. And again, this can be met without a tax rate increase, providing a 16.5 cent annualized tax. 15.5 cents of that will be for general service. And again, we will be proposing dedication of 1 penny across all properties to beach nourishment, which keeps us the second lowest beach community within the state. So the general fund property tax on proposition would bring forward approximately $5.25 million, which would be roughly 40% of our budget. And on average, a household in Emerald Isle would be valued at nearly $403,000. That means the total combined tax bill on average would be $959 for the year, which includes your tax rate at $664 and your solid waste at $295. Those sales tax revenues would also be projected at $2.91 million, which is a major contributor to help us offset our tax rate. So again, we have a lot of funding streams that we're very fortunate for here in EI, and we would like to invest those dollars for the betterment, the safety, health, and wellness of our constituents, primary property owners, secondary property owners, tourists, and businesses. Continuing on in our budget presentation is the one thing that many people come here to see, and that's the beauty of our beach strand. And what we would be proposing with that 1 cent combination in the 4 cent overlay district, it would provide an opportunity for approximately $846,000 to once again be dedicated and reserved for future beach nourishment activities. And one of those activities we'll be discussing later tonight in our conversation here at the board. So again, no change in beach nourishment, and that special district would maintain a 4 cent overlay and a consistent 1 penny out of the 16.5 to provide that future beach nourishment. So to bring it all down to the lower level, we recommend a 16.5 cent general fund property tax. That average value property owner would be providing a $56 contribution each and every month to the town of Emerald Isle. To bring it into stakes, that's the equivalent of many persons' monthly cable bill, your smartphone bill, potentially a daily cup of coffee depending on what size you grab, dinner for 2 at one of our fantastic restaurants, a movie night for 4 if you skip the popcorn and the large drink, and potentially a half a tank of gas depending on where those fuel prices are going to fluctuate over the next 6 to 12 months. But in reality, what we're very fortunate to present tonight is a well-balanced, well-thought-out, well-invested plan. And that has come at the cost of some very hard work within our team for grant acquisition, the planning brought forward by this board, the feedback received from the community, and hopefully the opportunity to continue to provide people with a beautiful, family-friendly beach where folks can come here and make a memory, not become one. And so we're investing heavily in our beach strand, our police, fire, and EMS. And at that point, I'll turn it over to the video and we'll let our team, and I love the concept of Greg, roll the tape. So we'll load that up and allow you to see some of the other opportunities from high level, both from drone and on the ground.
Hi, I'm Matt Zapp, your town manager for Emerald Isle, and I'd like to talk to you today about your fiscal year 23-24 draft budget. In the proposed budget, it's a $13.6 million total budget plan, with $12.8 million of that being in the general fund and an additional $846,000 in beach nourishment. The great news is no change to the tax rate, and we plan to maintain 16.5 cents to accomplish all these goals throughout Emerald Isle. There will be no additional personnel needed, with 75 full-time employees and 120 to 130 seasonal, on-call, and part-time employees helping us to do our tasks during the peak of the season. One other area we'd like to highlight is the importance of our exceptional level of service with solid waste collection. We make approximately 36,000 stops per year on yard debris, and we collect trash twice per week, recycling once per week, and white good collections as needed. The culmination of those services are provided at an annualized cost of only $275. But unfortunately, beginning effective July 1, 2023, the cost for tipping fees has increased. On solid waste, it will now be $54.50 per ton of trash and $100 per ton of recycling. And to make sure our budget balances is fair and equitable to all 6,600 consumers that use our service, the annualized cost for solid waste will be presented at $295 per year, or a $1.66 per month increase. In addition to our standard $13 million local budget, we were also fortunate to secure over $10 million in outside grant funds, dominantly through FEMA, for emergency preparation. Those funds will be utilized to purchase a new fire truck at $900,000, a second fire truck at an additional $900,000, a pair of brand new ambulances at $450,000 each, plus 4 jet skis and trailers totaling $68,000, which will be used for emergency and ocean rescue, a dump truck at $90,000, a loader at an additional $40,000, and emergency radios connecting all of our staff, their buildings, and equipment, all funded at $450,000. These are some of the highlights for non-local tax dollars that will be used to protect, serve, and provide for Emerald Isle. Another key component is the innovative way that Emerald Isle is providing safety equipment and vehicles for all of our town staff. We've engaged in a balanced program of both leasing and purchasing. Behind me, you'll see 2 new Jeeps. These are used for beach rescue and our ocean rescue lifeguard system. These units are leased through a commercial program. This lease program is revenue positive and helps Emerald Isle save money each and every year and puts our people in a frontline piece of equipment so that we can serve you quicker, better, safer, and at a lower cost. So in addition to leasing, we still maintain, own, and purchase a portion of our fleet. This helps us keep a balanced operation as we provide services 7 days a week, 365 days a year. But by operating new vehicles, we've driven our maintenance costs to near zero, and we've increased the fuel efficiency of our fleet, which helps us drive our fuel purchases substantially lower than in the past. Additionally, in fiscal year 23-24, we will collect an estimated $846,000 towards beach nourishment, and those funds will go directly into the Beach Nourishment Fund. Regarding personnel, we're looking to offer a 6% cost of living adjustment, which allows us to keep pace with the Southeast region's CPI. Also, insurance costs have remained flat. We're pleased to announce that our medical, dental, optical insurance rates have remained at near zero change. So we're looking to continue those exceptional benefits for the employees that make Emerald Isle what it is. When it comes to roadways, the Powell Bill funding from the state of North Carolina helps us maintain our roadway infrastructure within Emerald Isle. Each year we receive approximately $160,000 in Powell Bill funds generated dominantly from the state's gas tax. Those funds are then reinvested to make sure and maintain our roadways are safe, clear, and passable. This year, look for repairs to be completed on Coast Guard Road and Sound Drive dominantly. Additionally, as funds permit, we will be looking for expanse and improvements within our sidewalk connectivity, potentially at Lee Avenue and at the Point. One other exciting improvement to share is the recent expanse to the turn lane coming off of the bridge to Coast Guard Road. In partnership with the Department of Transportation, the town of Emerald Isle was able to work and expand the turn lane. Approximately 4,108,000 cars entered that intersection in 2022, and nearly 25 to 26% of those cars on a daily basis travel Coast Guard, which means that 1.4 million cars annually travel down Coast Guard Road. By expanding that turn lane, we can help the queue with 1 out of every 4 cars making their way to their destination easier. The average homeowner within Emerald Isle has a home valued at $403,000, providing a base tax of approximately $664 per median home, plus $295 in solid waste fees, provides a median average payment of $959 per year for all the services provided by Emerald Isle. So as we close today, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video and learn more about this beautiful municipality that we have the privilege and honor of calling home in Emerald Isle. So as you look forward, on May 9th, we'll be presenting this draft budget to the public. On June 13th, we'll have a public hearing with an opportunity to vote and take action on the proposed draft budget. If you have any questions, be sure to give us a call, shoot us an email, or stop on by one of the open public meetings. And remember, our meetings are held on the second Tuesday of each month at 6:00 p.m. at the town board.
Thank you, Matt.
Yes, sir. And one other thing I'd like to highlight in that video is the turn lane opportunity that was enhanced this off-season along the bridge and down to Coast Guard was at zero cost to the town. So that was in partnership, and that was a direct result of the camera and traffic counting system that we've put into play. And so we are able to upload that data and share that data. We now do so each and every month. We share the traffic counts at Coast Guard. We share them down at Bogue Inlet, and we also share them at the east end, and we're working to enhance and improve a secondary system to also count at Islanders. So we're working hard to try to secure the data, to leverage that into information, which becomes money and funds from outside sources. So I did want to highlight that. With that being said, I'd ask the board if you have any questions to either myself, additionally to Laura and or staff, we would gladly help you answer anything that you may have tonight.
Thank you, Matt. Any questions right now for Matt from the board? Thank you. On a light note, before we open the public hearing, that if you would keep texting me every half hour, so I'll stop trying to drive down Lee Avenue to go home. I do it twice a day, every day. All right, public hearing time. We'll need a motion to open the public hearing.
Make a motion to open the public hearing.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, public hearing is open. Anyone that signed up for comment regarding the budget is now invited up as you're called upon to speak. We're going to limit that to 3 minutes per person. If you will, please remember this is a public hearing for the 2023-2024 proposed budget. For any other general comments, we will have public comment a little bit later in the meeting there. So, Ms. Deal.
Jeff Ward.
Good evening, Jeff. And just hold that mic up close so the people at home can hear us. Little switch on the bottom there.
Hello. Okay.
There you are.
All right, awesome. All right, I'll start. I had the opportunity to talk with Randy Hanford, and as you guys know, he's a business owner here on the island, and we were talking about the budget. And we also had the opportunity to speak with a couple of the members of the board. And I think we're all in agreement there's a difference between wants and needs. And Mr. Hanford said when we're running a business, a lot of times it's the little things that add up to big savings. And it's not always the big expenditures that really make a difference as far as a business. And we kind of think of the town as a business. You know, it's just my opinion. I was looking at the vehicles, and I just honestly believe that we've got too many vehicles. That's just my opinion. Everybody's entitled to disagree with me, but I just think that we have enough vehicles that are being underutilized that we probably don't need a fleet as large as what we have. That's just my opinion. The leasing, you know, I know there's a place for leasing, but what people don't realize is that by 2025, 2026, almost all the vehicles other than the ones that are being purchased through FEMA, which is the fire engines, the ambulance, the rescue boat, the dump truck, the tractor, all of the other ones are going to be leased according to the plan that was put out as far as this proposed budget. And then by 26 and 2027, all of them will be leased. That's a little bit concerning to me because as a business owner, I look at financial statements as far as my business. And there's two big categories, assets and liabilities. And if you're paying rent or you're paying money on leases, that doesn't go on the asset column. I know there's a place for leasing, but I don't think leasing everything and using leasing as a one-size-fits-all tool is the best way to utilize taxpayer dollars. I think we can work that a little bit better. That's just my opinion. And I'm glad Ms. Rochford brought up the FEMA money because we are so blessed to go through a disaster like Florence and then have the financial ability to have these improvements, but we need to remember it's a one-time deal. I mean, once that money is gone from the 428 grant from FEMA, that's $12 million that will be used in a five-year capital improvement program. But once that $12 million is gone, we don't get another $12 million to spend. That concerns me as well, because what if we didn't have the $12 million? What would we do to be able to afford these capital improvements? I mean, imagine if we put together a 5-year capital improvement plan minus $12 million.
Jeff, I'm sorry to cut you off, sir. We're about a minute past time, if you would.
Okay, thank you.
No, you're good. Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Paige Taylor Ward.
Good evening, Paige.
Hey.
Hey.
My name is Paige Taylor Ward, and I live at 326 Live Oak Street. And I wanted to take this opportunity to thank you guys. I know what you do is really hard. Our last public comment, we had a resident that asked you to find the money for a gym floor. I looked at the budget as well. One change in a vendor could make a difference at $100,000. We currently use VC3 from South Carolina. I don't understand why we can't put food on a local man's table by using, there's 2 companies that support most of the municipalities here in Carteret County. That's ACS Computer Services and Connecting Point. $500,000 over 5 years at $100,000 savings. That's significant. I also, too, think we have too many vehicles. I've kept a log as I drive back and forth from Pine Knoll Shores to here every day. There are 10 to 13 vehicles sitting in our parking lots at the police department or the town hall. The lease program only shows just that in the budget. There's no funds. I looked at the state contract price, and we may not have this particular type of truck, but the 2023 truck is $601.50 a month plus 63 cents a mile. That's $6,000 a month for 10 vehicles times 12 months. That's $72,000. We could have already purchased a brand new 2023 Ford Maverick off the state contract, which is $22,500.59. A 2023 Ford F-150 Crew Cab 4-wheel drive was $42,859.53. And let's say we just got a 2023 Ford Ranger 4-wheel drive Super Cab, $31,576.70. I think we're wasting money by leasing vehicles. Another way to save money will be to stop picking up the large amounts of yard debris. The town should be picking up the same amount that the residents would have to pay if they took what is placed in the right-of-way. It's 3 cubic yards by 3 cubic yards by 3 cubic yards. If any of us were to take that amount or more than that to the transfer station, we would have to pay. So it's not fair for the taxpayers to pay to pick up a load that is lined all the way down the lot. All you have to do is drive down Emerald Drive and you'll see that much yard debris out there. We should only pick up a small amount at a time or have the homeowner take the rest. So in my opinion, and that's all this is, I think we could save money. Another way we could save money would just be by possibly charging $2 to $4 for white goods. Most other towns do that. And I just think that all the stuff that we do on Facebook doesn't have any value whatsoever as far as dollars. I think a public information officer, in my opinion, is a waste of money. We already pay for our taxes, the TDA, and that's that Welcome Center that's right down the street. Another thing, the car show of $18,000
We're about a minute past, if you would.
is a want and not a need.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay. All right, so no one, anyone that didn't sign up have anything to say regarding as far as public hearing before we close? All right, I'll ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
All right, public hearing is closed. Now I'll open it up to the board for any discussion or questions for Matt, Laura, amongst yourselves?
I always go first. Y'all go ahead. I don't have any questions. Could refute all that was said from the podium, but I think I'd rather spend some time really just to first say thank you. I'm not sure how many emails or trips I made up to town hall to ask or request additional data or make minor changes to the proposed budget. I know, speaking for myself, I didn't get all my wants, if you will, or initiatives in there. I don't think anybody did, but I feel good about addressing the needs. So really just a thank you for 50 visits over the last, since January, to help untangle some of this. So I'm very appreciative of all your hard work. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Anyone else?
I'll say the same. It's been, 6 months in the making for us to get here tonight. It doesn't just happen overnight. So I appreciate all of the work that you did, Laura and Matt, and the rest of the staff who worked on grants and who put together a balanced budget. We're very fortunate other beach towns quite close to us didn't come into the budget process with that luxury. So they had a lot more work to do than we did. And I feel good about the things that are in our budget: stormwater, public safety, and our beach strand being the larger themes, which will serve us for many years to come. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And no tax increase.
All right. Regarding the fiscal year 2023-2024 budget, per my notes, we'll need a total of 4 motions one way or the other to move forward. So I'll put it back to the board here.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the fiscal year 23-24 budget ordinance.
All right, the motion is on the floor. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion is carried. Need a motion regarding the fee schedule.
Mayor, make a motion to adopt the 23-24 fee schedule.
Motion's on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
See no opposed. Motion is carried.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to adopt the 5-year capital replacement improvement program.
Motion is on the floor. All in favor? Mark? Mark?
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm in favor.
Okay.
Yep, I was just reading through this note right here.
Just for the record, yes, sir. All right, motion is carried. Now I need a motion regarding pay plans.
I make a motion to adopt the fiscal year 23-24 pay plans.
All right, motion's on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Thank you all. All right, item number 12 is an update regarding Army Corps of Engineers and Bogue Inlet dredging. Matt, if you would share that information with us, please, sir.
Mayor and board, is it okay? I had a couple of things I wanted to recorrect so that the public had the accurate information. Is that okay?
Please.
Thank you for bringing up the leased vehicles. I wanted to share with you about that program, and there's a handful of examples. So for the public, we only lease a portion of our fleet. We have approximately 50 to 55 active rolling apparatus vehicles in our fleet at any given time. I'd like to share with you that there's 3 trucks in Public Works or Parks and Recreation that are outside today. And those 3 vehicles, we resold the 3 units we had, took and turned those dollars, and we purchased 2022 F-150s. The state bid price is rated at $31,000 each. We had less than $9,000 in replacing all of those vehicles to put brand new trucks in the fleet, which reduced our maintenance and our costs. We did lease brand new vehicles, Tahoes. We leased those for the police chief, the community resource officer, and the fire chief. The cost of ownership on the Tahoe that the chief of police rode for 31 months was $19,000. When they resold it at Enterprise, we got a check back for $21,000, which was a profit of $2,000 for driving the truck nearly 3 years. In addition to that, we took and sold a 2016 1500 series Chevrolet truck, which was the Public Works Director's truck. We paid $26,500 for that in 2016, and we sold it for north of $29,000 last year, and we made a profit of almost $3,000 again on it. So what you have is not the conventional lease program that you and I would be able to walk up and service. This is a commercial lease specifically designed for municipalities, and there is no cost for mileage. They're open-ended leases, and what Enterprise does with us is we run those vehicles to their peak point when we find out we can resell them for the most amount of money. So again, this has saved Emerald Isle on average between $100,000 upwards of $200,000 per year over the last 36 months. So I just wanted to share that. Appreciate you bringing it up, but those are all the pieces of data. So again, a portion of our fleet is leased, which is dominantly in the police department, and we do lease all of our Jeeps because they rust out. And so what we're seeing is a cost of ownership that's dramatically lower than maintaining those vehicles over a 7-year period. But I just wanted to share that with the board before presenting.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
All right. Now we will thank you again for that. We'll move into Bogue Inlet dredging potential and Army Corps of Engineers.
Yes. Opportunity to discuss one of those beach nourishment projects. And the Army Corps of Engineer office has reached out to both Carteret County and to our town staff. The Carteret County Shore Protection Office was approached for Bogue Inlet dredging. The Army Corps will dredge that specific area for us as a part of the annualized and the national plan program. There is a chance to over dredge that area, and what that means is there's an opportunity to procure and widen it, which would help the length of life and would also help the navigation in that channel area. What that would provide is an opportunity for approximately 160,000 cubic yards. Our staff's heading out. 160,000 cubic yards of sand. That approximate project is $2.6 million. And we would be able to contribute to that. So the town of Emerald Isle, if we participated in the program, would provide 12.5 cents per dollar. So for example, if they would dredge the 160,000 cubic yards, our contribution would be approximately $333,000. What we're looking for is consensus tonight to support what Carteret County has voted upon and discussed at the Beach Commission level, and they will be carrying forward to the Carteret County Board of Commissioners. So what we're saying tonight is there's a chance to do an additional dredging and nourishment, which would occur near and at the point area, and we would invest out of our $5 million plus of beach nourishment funds, right around $330,000 to $335,000 plus or minus, depending on the total cost of the bidding at the time, and that's the estimate that we're looking for tonight. So the request is, this will be the 7th time since 2006 that Carteret County and Emerald Isle have pulled together financial resources, complementing the Division of Water Resources and the Army Corps to maintain that Bogue Inlet channel and connecting and utilizing the federal funding and dredging. The request this evening is to ask you if you would be in support of that project at 12.5 cents per dollar to provide upwards of 160,000 cubic yards of material to the point area.
Thank you, Matt. This is new to everyone there, so I'll open it up to the board for any questions for Matt. Thank you to the Beach Commission, Shore Protection Office, Ryan Davenport for that information. So I'll open up for discussion from the board.
Anytime we can grow the point and only have what in essence is a small percentage of investment is a good thing. Just for the board's sake, general public's sake, we yapped or communicated today in regards to the potential dune profile, which hasn't been drawn yet, gone through engineering or anything yet. So we may or may not need to come back at some point and talk about harvesting some seeds in the future if the sand does in fact go up into the higher portion of the dune structure. Just the drawings and the template itself hasn't been drawn and provided by the Army Corps of Engineers just yet.
So this project, is Commissioner Roma is indicating, is in its infancy. So what we need to do is secure contribution from the town, contribution from Carteret County, and then we would leverage the other 75% with the North Carolina Shallow Draft Project. And then all in part and parcel, we'll be working with the Corps, who's already doing a dredging project, which would defease the cost of mobilization and help us procure an even greater project at a substantially lower cost. very similar to what we've done post-Florence when we nourished together as a group across the entirety of the bank. So again, tonight is a very high-level conversation, and there's not even any drawings or information to share with you. We would be remiss if we didn't thank Mr. Tom Rule, who's with us this evening and also serves on that board and helps us very closely with beach nourishment as well. And not putting Mr. Rule on the spot, but I believe that they voted in favor of this at the Beach Commission level at this past meeting.
All right. Any other questions from the board?
I mean, it sounds like a great thing for us that we're protecting the point, we're protecting the houses out there. We're making it safer for to use the inlet. It's going to be wider. So anybody that boats and goes through that inlet, it's narrower and narrower, it can get very dangerous. Over the years, there's boats that's been flipped over in it. So it's a safety thing all the way around. It's a protection thing all the way around. I'm in 100% of moving forward with this idea.
All right, there's no further discussion. I'll ask for a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the resolution authorizing the use of beach nourishment funds to participate in the winter 23-24 Bogue Inlet Dredging event.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion's carried. Thank you, Matt. All right, Doug Huggett from Moffett Nickel will now present our Bogue Sound Boat Channel Relocation Project Update. Good evening, Doug.
That working? Okay. Evening, everyone, and thank you for having me here tonight. And I am Doug Huggett from the engineering firm of Moffett and Nickel. Our office is located main office in Raleigh, but I'm the Morehead City office. So I'm the local representative. If the board will remember, I was here, I believe, back in January, talking about some environmental studies that we have been doing in support of the search for an alternative boat channel or potential channels leading into your town boat ramp facility. And we had indicated at that time that we had done some environmental studies and still have some more to go. I promise this talk is not going to go near as long as that one in January. Somebody advised me to do that today. So, okay, make sure I get this right. All right, well, if you'll remember back in January, for those of you that were here, we had talked about the necessity to do some environmental studies in support of a couple of channel locations that we were looking at for the town. And at the time, we had indicated that we had done some environmental surveys for both shellfish and submerged aquatic vegetation, or SAV as it's known, or seagrass. We had done a preliminary study in September of 2022, and the results of both of those two surveys were very promising. However, in coordination with state and federal environmental and regulatory agencies, we were advised we needed to go out and do a second SAV or seagrass survey in the late spring, early summer of this year. Within Bogue Sound, there are two different species of seagrass. One of them is a early season growth, and then it kind of dies off, and then there's another one that's a later season. So we were advised that we needed to go out sometime in the May timeframe to look for the Zostera, as they call it, or eelgrass. And we did do that in May of 2023. We did not do a shellfish survey this time around because we'd already done one of those and they're not as seasonal. So that leads us to, well, I'll go back and just show first. These were the results that we had shown coming out of the 2022 survey. And there were two main alternatives that we had chosen. We're showing alternative 1 and alternative 2. And then we actually had a spur on alternative 1 that we were calling alternative 1A. And this is for SAV or seagrass presence. And we thought it was very promising that alternative 1, possibly 1 combined with 1A, would give us something that would be permittable. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that seagrass from an environmental perspective is extremely highly protected resource from permits and regulatory agencies, and we were trying to find a route that would avoid that potential conflict. So again, this was the September 2022 survey for the fall species. We went out in May of this year, and please ignore the red patchiness. Those are some data layer overlays, but keep an eye on the green dots and the green polygons. Those are areas where we did find seagrass, either patchy seagrass, or some of those are heavy seagrass polygons. I think it's fair to say that we found seagrass in the majority of the shallow waters of the channels, especially Channel 1. And here are some pictures of what we found. Here's just a shot of one of our scientists holding seagrass that they had gotten. And this was a water shot of probably one of the more dense beds of seagrass, but still, this is what we were seeing when we were out there. We show this only, this is a slide of the seagrass survey, not seagrass, I'm sorry, the shellfish survey that we had done back in September. And there were minimal shellfish that were found, so we don't think that the shellfish would be an environmental obstacle to being able to put a new channel into either Channel 1 or Channel 2. However, the seagrass issue is another reason. And the reason that the seagrass issue makes things extremely complicated are various rules of environmental agencies in the state of North Carolina. The waters in this area of the Bogue Sound are designated as, by the state, as outstanding resource waters. And outstanding resource waters are waters that are more pristine and have a higher protection level associated with them, if you will. And the State Division of Water Resources, who implements the state's water quality certification program, have rules that say that there will be no dredging of SAV within outstanding resource water, such as the case here. We heard this at a scoping meeting we had with these agencies last fall. It's also the case that the Division of Coastal Management, who implements the FEMA regulations, their rules also have a requirement that say that new navigation channels must avoid areas of submerged aquatic vegetation. So where we are now is we have some regulatory obstacles in front of us if we choose to move forward. But in talking with the town, we believe that we are going to put every effort we have moving forward into trying to find a pathway, a regulatory pathway forward to get a project permitted. We will be applying for a permit for likely alternative or Channel 1 or 1+1A, and we will be utilizing every avenue available to us to try and move that through the permit process and come out with the best possible solution for the town. So we will be doing that. We have some design work that has to be done to get the project ready to go, some other bureaucratic steps before we can get into the permit application process, but we are working towards those right now. So that's the update that I wanted to give to the board and to the citizens here about where we stand with this issue right now. And with that, I appreciate it. And Matt or Mr. Mayor, I don't know if you want questions taken, or is it just a presentation at this point?
We appreciate the presentation. Does the board have any questions for Mr. Huggett while he's still up there?
I think, let's start with money. How about that? Before Doug leaves, and remind us all, we have grant funds on hand to continue to slug away at trying to permit a new channel, whether it's 1 or 1A. But Matt, could you run us off the top of your head of our numbers available?
Yes, sir. This project was estimated, originally started with a scope at approximately 1.6 million, then it had mission creep to 1.8 just based on realistic numbers. And so we're now sitting and viewing a project that could be between 1.8 and $2 million. But again, we're very pleased to share that fortunately this is funded through the state budget, and Representative McElrath was very helpful in assisting Emerald Isle in this process. So again, no local tax dollars would be reinvested in the further investigation and or award and or dredging if we can get this permitted. So we understand the importance of this from a staff and board level, but again, we're very fortunate. And if you happen to see now retired Representative McElrath bebopping through the grocery store, a big thank you to Pat for that. And again, these are not local dollars, and we've worked very hard to try to get this problem resolved for our local boaters and those that visit us.
Thanks, sir.
I've got a question. With the finding of the seagrasses that came in effect early this spring, are we realistically moving forward, or can we move forward with those findings?
You can always move forward into the application process. I don't want to pretend that the permit application process is going to be simple. It is not. There are major rule obstacles that we have to overcome. But we are going to give it everything that we've got to try and find avenues, find pathways through the rules that may help us to gain some traction. So we are going to give it everything we have in that regard, but I do not want to pretend to anybody that it will be an easy process to obtain permits.
Well, according to that statement I saw up there, it's very unlikely to happen.
I would agree with very unlikely, but again, as an ex-regulator myself, no regulator is ever going to say something is absolutely, positively can't be done. Because as soon as you say that, you're going to get in trouble. So.
But we're going to keep spending money for something that probably is not going to happen. Opinion here.
Again, as I said, I think there are quite a few obstacles in front of us. That's correct.
I know there's no motion required, just some feedback. We've been at this about 2 years now, give or take. You know, I think we should run its course. It's just my informal input. I know there's seagrass there. I know it's a tough sell to the regulators, if you will, but got good attorneys. And I say we run that horse till it gives out.
Agree.
Yeah. And I think the same way also. I think we've gone too far and too much and gotten the state funding to find this money. So I think that we'll know once and for all if this is going to happen or not. And the only way we're going to fully know it is run it to the course till the end. So I think we should move forward.
I agree with you. We've gone this far. Let's continue to move forward and see what you can do.
Thanks for the update, Doug.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, item 14, is Michelle? There she is. Snuck up on me. Michelle Eitner, our planning director, with phase 2 amendments, updates for the Unified Development Ordinance.
Greg's queuing up the PowerPoint, but I want to just go ahead and dive right in. We're looking at phase 2 of the amendments to the UDO. This is the last step for these phase 2 amendments. The amendments span the entire document. We usually provide a short list like this, and then a longer summary of changes, and then the entire document of changes, and all of those are included in the agenda packet. And I reviewed these a little bit at the May 9th meeting, so I'll continue on unless further discussion on the items is requested. Through review of the proposed amendments by our town attorney, this old section regarding condotels was found to be outside of authority and is recommended for removal rather than relocation within the document. So staff does request that the board remove this provision rather than relocate it. And we're just taking the opportunity now to remove it, even though it's basically unused. So this is our timeline that we've been coming through for the second phase of amendments. These draft amendments were provided to the Planning Board for discussion in March and final recommendation in April. I've had the pleasure to meet with the commissioners individually to discuss the proposed changes and review the summary of changes at our May 9th meeting. Tonight, we request that the commissioners consider adoption of the proposed amendments with the removal of the condotel section as recommended by the town attorney.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions for Michelle? I'll ask for a motion then.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to, forgive me here, this is a long one. I want to make sure I say this right. Motion to approve the resolution of consistency and ordinance amending Appendix A, Unified Development Ordinance of the Town of Emerald Isle Code of Ordinances with the removal of condotel provisions of Section 5.22, rather than relocating them to Section 4.2.72, as recommended by the town attorney.
All right. Mouthful there, thank you.
Yeah.
Motion's on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion's carried. Thank you very much. Thanks, Michelle.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, item number 15 will be our public comment portion of the agenda. Anyone signed up for public comment for anything there related to the town can now come up when called. I'm sorry? Hey, Sarah, how are you?
Great, how are y'all?
Good. You'll hold that mic up close so the folks at home can hear us. Try again.
Nope.
There
Yeah.
you are.
All right. So I'm Sarah Fullwood, and never in my life did I think I would have the title of pickleball spokesperson, ever. But here I am. And normally, pickleball is the happiest thing that we can talk about at a meeting. But with all the great grant news tonight and the great budget news tonight and all the stuff the Surfriders are doing, it's just a great reminder of what a great place we live in. But I will talk about pickleball. So I just want to make sure y'all are aware of the amazing numbers that we're having at our open pickleball nights, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturday mornings. We have on average 30 folks show up. Last Tuesday, we had 50 people. That's a lot for 2 courts, challenging, but we get it done. We are so excited to see the barrels of court topping material that's out by the courts. We would love to know kind of what the timeline might be for that, so a start date and a duration so we can let people know, because we're getting a lot of questions. We also have some ideas about how pickleball can be a revenue-generating option for the town. There's a cash box on one side of the court. And do you know that you're supposed to pay $2 if you use the courts for an hour if you're not a member of the community center? I would tell you most people don't. And so folks go out there, I randomly ask them, do you know you're supposed to pay $2 if you're not a member of the community center? I'm very popular. So most of them say no. I remind them that what they put into that goes back to the community. It's important. They don't know. We should put a cash box on both gates and let people know. A lot of people come in through the basketball court area. They just don't know. Let's tell them how to sign up, tell them how to pay. Also make a cashless option, maybe a Venmo, QR code. Most people don't carry cash to the courts. We could make a lot of money off of these folks coming to play pickleball. So that's just one thing. I know I'm running out of time. All right. These numbers mean that we can make a lot of money. Couple of other things. We need a few more benches on the periphery of the court. We got a large age demographic. Some folks need to sit down. And we could use a little shade too. That'd be great. Also, we could host a tournament once we get these nice courts out there. We could become the pickleball destination of the East Coast. I mean, imagine our shoulder seasons. Perfect weather, perfect courts, amazingly nice people. We've got it all. we could really be the place people go to play pickleball. So just a couple of options, ideas. We'd love to be involved. Really appreciate what y'all are doing to get the additional courts done. Oh, look at that.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. Hey, good evening, Deb. Not quite, not yet.
I'm Deb Bjornson. I actually am not a resident. I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but I do come, my husband and I live up in the Pelletier area. We come here quite often. We fell in love with this area when we came to visit, and we moved to North Carolina. We came from Las Vegas. We tell everybody we came from hell to heaven. So that's how we feel about this place. We love your town, we love your beaches. But every time I go to the beach at the western end there where you have, kind of by the Highlander, you have that little nice shaded area. And because we've got skin cancer and those kind of things, we appreciate that. But every time I go, there's always a gentleman that smokes cigars, and I have asthma. I'm also disabled. I have a problem with one of my legs, and it's difficult at best to get down to the beach. So we set up there and we really enjoy it. But I'm just saying, if there's one little area that you can make non-smoking, it's just my suggestion. I hear a lot of people complain every time the guy lights up, but if you ask him kindly, he gives you the speech about a free country and so on and so forth, and I can respect that. But, you know, it says nice matters down here, and I would really think it would be nice to have just a non-smoking area for older folks and disabled folks that aren't being exposed to toxic chemicals from people smoking. And that's it.
Thank you, Deb.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Ann and Jim, I'm sorry, what was the last name? We'll get one of them up here. Ann or Jim wants to go first.
Maybe they're not here.
Ann and Jim, what was the last name again? I'm sorry.
Neltner?
Ann, Jim, you here?
Signing in?
Hey, you're not the first person. It happens. It happens. Thanks for coming.
Dave Novi.
Only happened last month. That's funny.
Paige Taylor Ward.
Paige. Excuse me.
Hey.
Hey.
It's me again. I just wish one of y'all could explain to me why we don't enforce our ordinances, particularly the 35% rule. There's more and more clear-cut lots on this island. It all boils down to how you issue the grading permit. If we follow our ordinances, we would have fenced or staked, the word you changed, but that's still not happening. I can't understand it. Can you explain why we don't enforce our ordinances or how we are able to issue permits that violate our ordinances? That's it. I've been waiting for an answer for 3 years, and I've been talking to y'all about this for 3 years.
Thank you, Paige.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Jeff Ward.
Hey, Jeff.
Just real quick, we live on Live Oak Street, and we've been there permanently for 10 years. And as you guys may or may not know, Mr. Finch lives over on that street as well. The canal runs, we've got a footbridge there, and the canal runs right down through there. If you follow it, I mean, it pretty much runs, I think, maybe down to as far as somewhere near Old Ferry. I know you guys are doing a lot of work as far as replacing, pipes under the road and culverts, but I would encourage you guys to walk it where it is possible, because the water flow this year is, and I think, Matt, you had a lady that at the end of the street came and spoke with you about, she's right next to the canal. There is no water flow. It's stagnant down there, guys. If you look from Cedar Street, and I've walked from Cedar Street all the way down past the fire station, it is just green, stagnant muck. And I know replacing the pipes and the culverts are going to help, but there's also a lot of down limbs, debris, and there are other things that are affecting the flow of water through that canal. And that canal, when we have a storm, it is a stormwater runoff area. And if the water's not flowing the way that it should, I don't want it to create a problem with flooding in somebody's backyard or influence what our FEMA insurance rates might be for those that are required to have flood insurance. I encourage you to walk that canal where you can. Go back and look in back of the fire station. Go across the footbridges and look at how it's changed in just a year or two. That's all I'm asking. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Yes, ma'am.
Jay Wooten.
Hey, Jay.
Thank you all. Good evening. So I lived down here full-time, moved down here. The greatest draw was that beach, and I was naturally skeptical when I heard that when the crowds came back, the trash cans weren't going to come back. And I've noticed, I walk it just about every day, and I've noticed an uptick in just loose trash, debris. I was actually surprised to find it's mostly like juice boxes and things that families leave behind, because I think folks want to do the right thing when you make it easy for them. And I think moving the trash cans, as we did, moving so many of them, might have left people in a spot where it was easier to just leave something behind. I don't know. So I was really glad to see the ladies from the Bay Rider Foundation that they were getting after exactly the problem that Surfriders
Yes,
that
sir.
I'm talking about. And I've reached out to Joe, and I know the town staff are doing a great job for the time they spend down on the beach, but it is our #1 asset. So I think whatever we can do to try to get after that last 10% of the debris that's left on the beach that I feel like used to end up in trash cans, because I used to put it in the trash cans when I was walking my dog. I think something we can do there, whatever we can do there, whether it's partnering with others or something the town can do, whatever the solution is, I think we still have more to get after. And I just want to make sure that we don't, say mission accomplished and move on. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done with respect to trash on the beach. So thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
Am I the last one? Can I turn it off?
All right. Thank you to all of our public speakers. We'll move to item 16, be comments from our town clerk, attorney, and manager. Sarah? No, really? That's good. Town attorney.
No comments, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Zapp?
Yes, sir. I'll make it brief. I do have the privilege of working with Joe Smith and have watched Joe elevate within our organization. So he is one of the kindest, most committed persons I've had the privilege of working side by side. And so it's commendable to congratulate him on 20 years of service. And from every one of us on staff, we really thank Joe. I also have the unfortunate opportunity to thank Michelle Eitner for working with us for the last year. Michelle has helped us through a tremendous amount of work, specifically very influential in the technical side of development, creation, breaking down and helping us with our UDO. And unfortunately, the town of Beaufort's gain in their planning department is our loss. So Michelle's last day with us will officially be Friday. We are very thankful for what she's brought to us over the course of the last year. We wish her well in her new endeavors, as her commute is substantially shorter and her time at home will be greater. So we're thankful for her in that. We also wanted to let the community know that we have advertised, recruited, and we're in the final stages of awarding an employment opportunity to a new person that, if all goes well, tomorrow and or Thursday, we'll get our final documentation back. And the new planning director would theoretically be in position as early as July 17th. So the question should be raised, what do we do between Friday at 5 p.m. and July the 17th? And so we have once again engaged with the company N-Focus, which are professional planners that provide interim services across the state. And we have two planners that will be assisting the town of Emerald Isle. That is Bob Clark and Andy Thomas. Andy helped us serve multiple times in previous opportunities when we had a need. And so Bob will be new to us. Both have experience coastally. And we believe in that 30-day period, the interim status, we will be able to bridge that. If you have any trouble during that period, you can obviously stop in and see any of us at Town Hall. But our interim planners will help us, Mayor and Board, over that 30-day period. I wanted to update the board on the status of the tennis courts, which is actually really good news. But wait for it, there's the 1-2 punch. So the tennis courts are being resurfaced. We're excited about that. We've worked with our local vendors to do so. The materials are here. We can't give you a defined time period because they haven't given us one. So we're very active at trying to put that information out. So the good news is the 2 courts will be restriped. So there'll be still 2 tennis courts completely refreshed and restriped. We have worked with that company to stripe out 4 pickleball courts, which would theoretically be doubling the numbers on pickleball. We also had a problem occur. Somebody went and vandalized the current basketball court and striped it, and it's actually going to cost us more to remove those stripes. And we had that set to be restriped, so I'm so... Well, we weren't going to call Sarah out in the group. Sarah, you are too sweet. So we were excited about your enthusiasm, but concerned because we have it on the docket to restripe it to give you 5 courts. That wasn't. This was not pre-planned. So thank you for that. We got this. So we were. No need for a trial now, right? Ladies and gentlemen, we're here the second Tuesday for your entertainment every month. So we are going to restrip it, which will give us 5 pickleball courts. But I want to share with you the other swings. So we have received a tremendous amount of complaints from our tennis court players who feel like there's direct competition and our tennis court players can't get on the tennis court. So we're going to work out a solution that's fair and equitable to all. We appreciate all of those recommendations. We've looked at opportunities for increased benches and shades. We'll talk about all that. We are thrilled to partner with our pickleballers for a tournament that will help raise funds as well. I also want to share that we've worked with other local residents, not just at the tennis courts, but at other locations to go with a cashless option. Very few of us are carrying cash these days, and if you can scan a QR code, Venmo that in. But we still trust people because we think Emerald Isle is that place that is trustworthy. So we will leave it dominantly to the honor system, but we will be providing those cashless options are in process. So I did want to share that with you, but we do have to figure out a way to balance this high increasing spike vertical demand for all things excited about pickleball court with our legacy players on the tennis surfaces. So we will roll that out once we find out when they plan on providing that new tennis surface, and then they can line up the restriping. We'll also share that information socially. So just to recap, wanted to let you know that. One other item is about Archers Creek water flow. We are aware of that issue. We've shared it with the residents that have come to us about the concern. There is a blockage in one of the 3 culverts. So thank you, Mr. Ward, for bringing that up. We have addressed it. We are working with our engineers in design phase, as Ms. Laura Rochford identified. And as soon as those pipes are replaced, the blockage under Archers Creek at the culvert crossings are really what's inhibiting that water flow on tidal in and out. So we're aware of it. Unfortunately, there's not much we can do about it right now until we can get in, remove the damaged pipe and put the new one in. The first improvement at Lee will be helpful, but that's not going to help that water flow until we get to Cedar, Bogue Inlet, and Old Ferry and get those blockages cleaned up. So we do appreciate it. If anyone has private property, according to North Carolina rules, anyone that has property that abuts that walkway, if you have the physical capability, and we're saying if you do, you can always help clear those blockage materials out. And again, if you put those at the street, we grab all of those natural vegetative pieces. So if there's anyone else this is a many hands make for light work. It's not that Public Works isn't interested to come and clear that. But if you have a small section and you can help keep that clean, you bring up a great point. It does help with water flow during storms. So we'd encourage the support from the residents that have the physical capability or friends that can help them clear that, and we'll come and do our part as well. But it all dominantly falls into the next $680,000 of work that is currently in its final design stages that will go out for bid hopefully in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Any questions from my office, I'll be glad to answer them, and we thank you all for your help tonight.
Great info. Thank you very much. All right, our commissioners.
Me?
Yeah, I was going to throw a screwball at you guys, but no. Commissioner Taylor.
Yeah, so first off, let me thank Michelle for all her great work she's done for us and left us off to a very, very good start on heading down the proper channels for our planning department, our UDO. They're working hard on that. I know they work really hard on it. I'm not part of that committee, but I've talked to the other commissioners and seen all the hard work it goes into, and it's quite a, if you think of it like a Bible of the whole town, that's probably the heart of the town is that UDO and the way it works. So thanks for helping. I wish her all the best over in Beaufort. Hate losing her. Congratulations to Joe again. I hope he'll break the records here for longest employee and we get another 20 years out of him, hit that 40-year mark. I think he's young enough to make it happen, so I'd like to see that happen also. And then I maybe ask Matt, I was one of the ladies that talked earlier about that non-smoking area under the cover there. I haven't been out to that area to look to see if there's smoking signs or not smoking signs, but there's none there. Okay. Maybe we can just look into that as far as a something that we can see, we can figure something out on that side of it as far as so you can get your enjoyment too out of that area. So I'd love to see that happen. And last thing I was thinking about was the grant money again that Laura got for us, and your team, Matt, worked on all that for us. It's amazing. And I know we're looking 4 or 5 years down the road, but some of this grant money, like a fire truck, I'm on that committee that's developing the new standards and new stuff for the fire department and the EMS and stuff. And those fire trucks last a long time. So this grant money is something that's going to kind of stretch out for us for a long time. Our fire truck's not something that goes away in 4 or 5 years. We use them for quite a while. And sometimes I've seen them go as far as 20 years. So an ambulance is 5 or 6 years. So it's going to save, this grant money is going to save us tax money down the road for quite a long period of time. And it's a huge savings. And like Matt said earlier in his speech, if we didn't get this grant money, we wouldn't be sitting here and saying a no budget at 16.5%. We'd be coming to you and saying, we need a new fire truck, we need a new ambulance, and we're going to ask you for 4 or 5 cents. So once again, thank you, Laura. Thank you for the town to understand how this process works. It's amazing to see it, and feel proud and happy that your staff, the workers here, are doing a great job and actually saved us all quite a bit of money on our pocket money. I mean, we're paying under $1,000 a year for taxes, and we're the second lowest in all beach towns. I mean, and look what all we got here. And there's some beach towns that don't have half of what we've got. So thank you again, and thank you for your time.
Thanks, Mark. Commissioner Finch.
I want to start off by saying thank you to the Surfriders. I think you do an outstanding job, and I was very impressed by your presentation earlier. Laura, thank you for everything you've done to make this budget possible over the years. And I'd like to include all the town employees because they are a part of this budget. They work hard and very diligently every day. And to the citizens that are here tonight, thank you for coming out and expressing your opinions and voicing everything that goes on. And we hope that we're doing a good job and we're headed in the right direction. But thank you for steering us in the right path occasionally. So thank you for being here tonight. And we look forward to seeing you next month and hope the numbers will increase of people that are actually interested in what we have done and what we plan to do. So thank you again.
Thanks, sir. Commissioner Messer?
I'll just ditto the previous comments. They've already said what I was gonna say.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, and I still say, Laura, that woman is a magician.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Vogel?
I'll mirror my colleagues' comments, but I have to say the ocean rescue video, I mean, that's something that is, near and dear to my heart, ocean safety and making sure that you're coming to the beach to make memories and not become one. I felt like I wanted to be a part of it watching that video, right? That helps with a lot of things. That helps with recruitment. It helps with influencing generations that are younger than us to come and be a part of our ocean safety program. But I do want to reiterate, because on red flag days, I ensure that I go out to the beach just to see what's happening. And it is recommended strongly, especially by me, to stay out of the water on red flag days. That includes your children. The ocean is not a babysitter. I see it all the time on red flag days. So that's enough about that. But Laura, again, on the FEMA grant funding projects, I do want to say one thing about that $9.8 million. The funding is great, but moving those projects forward sometimes takes a lot of time, and it is dependent on parts, things we have to order, supply chain issues, and availability of contractors. Sometimes these projects aren't always convenient for our community, but they are important, including the Lee Street. Tough to have those things going on this time of year, but important for them to move forward, and we can check that off the goals list. That's all I got. Happy anniversary to my husband. I want to say that.
How many years?
9 years.
9 years?
Yes.
Not 90.
Well, it feels like 90.
Thank you, Jim. Commissioner Norma?
I'll pick up where Miss Jamie left off on ocean rescue. Jamie and I were talking about one of the calls that went out mid-morning for ocean rescue today. The town had just changed flags and whatnot, and not long after that, a call went out. 3 teenagers, a request for assistance, and of course my pager went absolutely crazy. Everybody responding, and I should have recorded it. It's probably recorded down at the 911 authority, but the ocean rescue supervisor, a young lady that was on duty for the morning session, was first to the call. How many in the water? 3. How many did she pull out? 3. That's strong, y'all.
Wow.
How about that? And so, got a great team. And I'll transition. Captain Matthias, I see, is not here. I heard the sirens go by. He's probably already got his 20 hours in for today. But the 3 planned things I had really with Chief Matthias was he has now started and partnered with Wake Technical Community College and using them as a training site for our paramedic students. So I was going to thank him for that. I'm sure, hopefully he's listening or will watch the rerun. And also we recently had 2 ocean rescue lifeguards graduate here locally from the Crystal Coast Fire Academy on May 17th. So congrats to them. The other 2 items, Joe is gone home, I guess. Joe Smith stepped out.
Hanging his plaque.
He's hanging his plaque. Good for Joe, 20 years. Cheers for the Bills, though, y'all. I mean, what in the world? But look, I'm just citing some things from our monthly reports, as normally I would do. Just encourage everybody to go to the end of the agenda package and read these monthly reports that our department heads submit. Joe's got a note in here about his team working over at the rec center the past month or so during the remodeling and update. And that's a big cost savings in hourly stuff. That team is still picking up brush, still fixing this, still patching holes in the road, but they saved us a lot of money in that remodeling work. So thanks to Joe and his team for that. And the last thing, I guess Michelle has gone too. What in the world? So Michelle, Matt covered a lot of that. Really what I want to say to Michelle, this is a big thing. You may remember right before COVID, we started working on the UDO, and it's a monster. It takes a lot of public comment, and I don't know who proofed that document more times, Jeff or Jim, I'm not sure. But a lot of public comment, a lot of changes to that UDO. We started before COVID, and then there were some delays, and then Michelle came in. Michelle is a smart young lady. She has a big future ahead of her. She is, by her doing a lot of this writing and then leading the committee through big chunks of the UDO, we probably saved $40,000 or $50,000 from bringing a team up from Wilmington to do that. So certainly wish Michelle all the best life has to offer. Town of Beaufort is very fortunate to have her, and just thanks to Michelle. So we still got those bleachers that we've been sliding around the gym trying to find something to do with. You know what we can do with them? That's what I was thinking. All right. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Echo the comments. Congratulations, everybody, or congratulations, Joe. Thank you, my friends at Surfrider. Best wishes, Michelle. And in close, one thing I did make it a point to do and had an opportunity to do in the past month since the last meeting was always try to be available, always try to engage the public. I'm always engageable. I mean, I have more conversations in the food line aisle number 7 than I have in here on a daily basis, and I'm grateful for that. It was one of the things that I'm happy to do and I signed up for. In the past month since the last meeting, I've had the opportunity to meet with some of you as a group, had conversations with you on the phone or in person one-on-one, and I think it's been really, really helpful for all of us on either side of the table to gain a deeper understanding of where you're coming from, what you want to see, what you're happy about, what you're not happy about. I'm always glad to see everybody here participating, being involved, but I'm confident and hopeful that at least a few of us have gained a better understanding of the inner workings of the town. I say it all the time that I can't wrap my mind around everything that goes into running the town, and I learn something new every day, but I feel like it's been an eye-opening experience for a lot of us in the past 30 days, so let's continue that narrative. Let's keep that going. I appreciate all of you being here tonight. I appreciate your comments, whether I agree with them or not. That's what it's all about, and that's what it takes. I was very sitting up straighter in my chair tonight. I think it was a really great meeting. I appreciate you all being here. So thank you very much for that. I won't rattle on anymore. I will say before we go into closed session to discuss personnel, so that time our public will be excused. Once we come out of that, for those that don't have an agenda in their hand or for those listening or watching at home, once we come out of closed session after our personnel discussion, we will be adjourning the meeting. So there's no business outside of the personnel discussion in closed session. So with that being said, thank you all for coming, and I'll ask for a motion to go into closed session.
Motion to go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318-11-6 for the purpose of discussing personnel.
All in favor? Aye. All right, now closed session. Thanks for coming, everyone.